All right, so good evening. It's about 11:24 here in Killeen, Texas, and I wanted to lead with some value for the Light family. I wanted to be able to touch somebody that may need this information because I believe that when God calls something over my spirit, it really requires me to act on it and to act in the now. I believe in the power of now. And when talking about the power of now, I'm going to really dig into a couple of things that have been heavy on my spirit and have been things that I really am focusing on talking to myself about on a day-to-day basis. And excuse my voice, I was yelling at my daughter's basketball game. She won tonight, 18-10. Had a little bucket, so shout out to KK. But let's dig into it, man. I want to talk about excuses versus reasons. And when I talk about excuses versus reasons, I really want to dig into why we seek excuses more than we seek reasoning. And I can really break this down in a couple of ways. And I want to start with talking about the things that we ingest because we love to go into escapism. We have a lot of different ways nowadays to be able to release ourselves of our problems, release ourselves of our reality, and be able to dive into the reality of others via the AI world we live in. Artificial intelligence is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Clubhouse, whatever your mode of social media that you like to engage in. I want to talk about what that's doing to us and also talk about what's really important in regards to our self-awareness and self-consciousness, because at the end of the day, if we don't understand ourselves, then we can't understand the world. We can't build those connections and we can't move the needle forward for the trajectory of our lives and for the rest of our families. So the reason why we come up with these excuses a lot of time is derived from a lack of belief in self, and it's what experts call limiting belief, self-limiting beliefs, okay? Self-limiting beliefs are when you cap yourself based on your experiences that you've had in your life and what you assume you'll be able to accomplish based on your surroundings. And I want us to understand, as well as myself, is that our surroundings will lie to us. We have to be able to get our emotions in control and get our emotions in check because our emotions are going to always be present. We have to get a good hold on those emotions so they don't start to create excuses for why we aren't where we want to be. All right. So they don't start to build excuses for why we are not where we want to be. So the focus is most important. What are we focusing on every single day? What is it that we're coming into our lives daily and saying that we're going to do? Because a lot of times we get lost in being a jack of all trades. You want to be a trader, you want to be a banker, you want to be a teacher, you want to be a great father, you want to be a great mother, you want to be a great philanthropist. You want to do so many things, but because your focus is so spread, you cannot focus and become a master of one thing. And the fact that you can't become a master of one thing leads you to losing yourself in minuscule tasks. You end up doing busy work a lot of times. You end up getting lost in the mundane culture of your work environment. You get lost in the mundane culture of your community because the deal is your dreams and your aspirations are probably much bigger than what you're surrounded by. It's very rare that your surroundings are exactly what you want from your life. And if that's the case, then you need to restructure what your life mission is and be able to pinpoint what being a master for you looks like. When you overcome these excuses, I'm not tall enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not as morally correct as I want to be at this point. My relationship with God isn't where it needs to be. Once you pinpoint those excuses and you start to identify them, right? Then if you identify it, then it's time to go and attack it so you can combat it with a solution. Okay, because a lot of times what we do is we sit on these excuses and we keep them for years and years and years. And to tell you the truth, the longer you keep your excuses, the more muscle and the more bandwidth you give it, and it'll end up being transferred to the rest of your family. It'll end up being transferred to the generations moving forward. And that's not what we want. We want to be able to change the direct trajectory of everything that we're going through right now and be able to propel the culture forward. We want to be able to propel our legacy forward. We want to be able to build a legacy of value. We want to continue to be people that are constantly growing, and we're making our energy introduce us to people before we introduce ourselves to people. Because the thing is about energy is your energy will introduce you first. So it's important to know that your excuse building mindset is forming your energy, and your energy is being transferred onto others, and that's the energy you're getting back. So that's why you don't have people around you that support your dreams, that support your goals, because your energy says, I don't support myself. So if you can't support yourself internally, and build that self-consciousness, then you will never have people around you that support you. You will never have people around you that push you to the point where it's like, man, I'm really about to get this done, because you keep giving out limiting belief energy, little girl energy, little boy energy. I need support. I need coddling. I need enabling. I need people to make excuses for me, because I make excuses every single day. And I'm telling you guys, there will never be a shortage of excuses. But the thing is, if you fall into excuses, then you will fall right into mediocrity, which is where about 75 to 80% of Americans live. And I'll even push it forward. Probably even 75 to 80, 90% of the world lives, because excuses make sense. They make sense. It makes sense to make an excuse for why you're not able to have a job, even though you've gone to so much school, because the job market is so competitive. Newsflash, artificial intelligence is about to take all these jobs. So it's not artificial intelligence that you need to be worried about. It's emotional intelligence. It's not artificial intelligence you need to be worried about. It's emotional intelligence. You cannot switch out the feeling component of things. You have to feel it before it's ever going to materialize in your life. If you can't feel it, then that means you are struggling with that self-consciousness, that self-awareness. What do I really want? Because when you dig into yourself and you find what you really want, then you will begin to attract who you are and who you become. Right? So that's going to be the number one thing to get us out of those excuses and get us into solutions and start to build reasons as to why I am going to make my life become everything that I said. Reasons as to why I'm going to become the veterinarian that I said I was going to become back when I was a freshman in high school. Reasons why I'm going to become the best father that I said I would become the day I saw my daughter's eyes for the first time. Those reasons have to continue to be fed and be supported, and they need energy. They need life. They need love. They need care. They're children. They need to grow. We have to nurture these reasons. So through that nurturing process, over a consistent habit stacking process, we will eventually become a master in those realms of life where we want to be. So I really want to touch on that. And then culture scheme, with culture, and this is I'm gonna touch on this and then move forward. With a culture scheme is you're in an environment, it's all either positive or negative. It's in the office, it's in the shopping store, in the shopping market, it's in the rec center, it's down the street, it's with your neighbors, it's the culture that you're in, right? The culture scheme is important because it sends signals to you as to how you should respond, right? It's trying to encourage you to respond a certain way. But the ultimate freedom that we have as individuals is our ability to respond, our ability to say, even though this circumstance is a certain way, I still have the ability to own my response and have a king-like response and have a queen-like response and let that God come out of me and let that light come out of me. Let that light illuminate the dark places. Even when it's dark, I can still be that light. Even when it's light, I can feed off of other pieces of light, other light energy, and grow into a bigger illuminating force and become that supernova that is able to power all of our dreams forward and be able to solidify all of our legacies, because we can go farther together. We could go farther together. And that's where it segues me into expansion. You want to go fast, then you can try to go along, right? You can do it as fast as you want to do it. Go fast as you do, as fast as you want to do it, but you're gonna trip up because you're gonna need help. But if you want to go far, right? If you want to get out there, if you want to make all those dreams become a reality, you gotta do it with a team. You gotta do it with a team. That's what I'm talking about with expansion, man. With expansion, I got a question I wrote down. What is expansion and how do we get it? And then how can we build a thirst for righteousness in that expansion? Because we know when we come together with other people's energy, it's important to know that you monitor those people's energy around you, because what you become close to and you really take from, you bond to and you become it. So you want to be conscious with that spirit of discernment. Discernment meaning the ability to be able to tell what is right for me and what may not be right for me is important. Meditation is important, right? Doing things that we love to do is important. Really tapping into that inner God and being able to say, what does my moral compass say in this situation? What should I really be doing? Is important, because when you come into that consciousness, then you're able to attract a team. You're able to attract business partners. You're able to attract relationship partners. You're able to attract all of the entities that need to be around. But you have to make sure you're good, because then you'll have an imposter inside of you that'll be tricking you and others into thinking that you want something in your space that you don't necessarily want. That law of attraction is real, baby. I ain't lying to you. It's real. It will consume you and it will destroy you if you are not consciously making a decision on who and what is going to be around you at any given time. Do not let social media rob you of your spirit, rob you of your soul, rob you of who you are. Don't let it do it, because you are an individual and everything you see is only what you see. It is not what you are. So we have a generation of people who talk about increasing, and they talk about expansion, and they talk about, they want to grow, but they think like decrease in survival. Like, you talk about wanting to go do all these things, you want to make all this money, you want to have a business, and you want to be the best in your job, and you want to be the best at this, but you have a mindset of decrease in survival. You can't share nothing. You like a spoiled little kid that want to hold on to everything, and anytime somebody threatens your position, you want to fight. That's a decrease in survival mindset. It'll get you out of a hellhole, because sometimes we get down on ourselves and we need to be able to say, I gotta fight through this, right? You need to be able to say, I gotta put my pennies together. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna make the situation work. But the thing is, though, is when you think in the decrease in survival, then the only thing you'll ever have is what you have, because you never working in multiplication. You never coming together with other entities and making 2 plus 2 equal 2 million. Every 2 plus 2 always gonna equal 4 for you, because all you have is all you've got, and you ain't never gonna add nothing else to the table, because you have no emotional control. You have no ability to create human currency. You don't network. You are unlikable. You don't dress nice. Your breath stink. You don't have any type of social skills at all. And you think that it doesn't matter, but it does, because you're capping yourself. Human capability is only going to be reached if you're able to open up the valve and let people fill your vessel as well. Something I tell myself constantly, because of somebody that is learned that if something's going to get done right, you're going to do it yourself. You figure out ways to get things done and you get really skilled at it. But again, a jack of all trades is a master of none. Without being a master, you have no real way to attain those goals that you truly want to set yourself on fire for. And then what was a problem has now become normal. And when you make your problems become normal, then now you have a decision to make. So if you have a problem that you can identify and you continue to say, I'm willing to deal with this problem instead of going out and trying to expand myself and grow myself and reach different networks and reach different entities, then you have now accepted defeat. At that time, that's when you've now come to terms with being defeated. And in this world, we are constantly in a state of war. Don't let nobody tell you otherwise. It's a war against yourself, okay? It's a war against yourself. Every single day, you have a choice to make. Are you gonna win the war or are you gonna lose the war? And you can fight the war with a metal, with an iron fist and a velvet glove. You know what I'm saying? You can have the velvet glove because the velvet glove allows you access to be able to communicate and be able to empathize, be able to understand people. But when it comes to that iron fist, I'm dropping the hammer on what I said is gonna get done, period. And when I drop that hammer, I'm gonna go through whatever wall I gotta go through. And once I go through that wall, I'm gonna hit a flow state and I will not be stopped. Once you hit the flow state, all of the things you want in your life are gonna come because things will become effortless. The work will become effortless. You'll do it because you love it. And even if it's not going the way it's supposed to go, you'll stay on the right path. That's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about getting through those things that make us uncomfortable, hitting a flow state and driving forward. Um, and when you get to that point and you start to do those amazing things and you have a hot streak, right? Like in basketball, when a team goes up 10-0, 11-0, 15-0, they hitting every shot, they making every steal, they making every pass. It's important to know that people are about to start throwing shade your way. It's important to know because more than likely, when you succeed, it shines a light on other people's insecurities. All right. It's gonna do that. And when that happens, you have to make sure that you say, oh, information that you've given me, you think I can't do this. Cool. It's never been done. That's fine. I'm the one. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it confused. I'm the one. That's why I don't fit in. I'm the one. Numero uno, only one. I'm the only one that can paint this picture the way I'm painting it right now. I'm Pablo Picasso. I'm the one. So if I tell you I'm gonna do it and I make my mind up that I'm gonna do it, then all you can do is sit there and watch and get feedback. And that's your job at that point. You now have dedicated your time to giving me energy to either fuel the fire or keep it rolling. That's the only thing you can do. But I control this shit. I steer this shit. I'm the one. So God is setting our tables, man. God's setting our tables. He gonna put you there. If we live in righteousness, he gonna put you there. He gonna put you in the right rooms. He gonna get you the right connections. You're gonna be in the right place. But you gotta be ready. Because if you're not ready, then you'll lose the opportunity. You'll squander it. And no telling what the next opportunity will look like. It may be a little more tough, maybe a little more difficult. You sitting here complaining about your days and about the things that are going wrong and the things that you can't do and why you don't want to deal with these people and you're mad about the new policy change at work. But the reality is that the more you complain, the more of the chance that when you show up to that doorstep of that opportunity, that door is going to shut in your face quicker than you could have ever imagined because you've now removed your skilled self, your talented self, your gifted self from the position of success due to a lack of inability to focus. The capacity that we have as humans is infinite. There's nothing we can't do. Look in history. We've done many things as humans. There's nothing we can't do. The quicker that we understand that as individuals, the more successful that we'll be. The brighter our light will shine, the more we'll get our life.